You've had some interesting customers that's well known. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I had Ben Johnson, which that was another deal where they kept pushing me out there to get his autograph, and I said, no, I'm not going. He said over in the corner.
So you knew who he was when he walked in?
Yeah, and I said, no, I'm not going. Well, I did finally go, and I had it in my yearbook. His autograph was in the yearbook. And then we had Will Rogers Jr. That one I wouldn't have knew at all because I was young. He sat at the counter. He had a BLT. He had that hat on he always wore. Nobody else knew
You
who
still remember what he had?
Yes, he had that little hat. And he went up to the counter, and my mom always worked the cash register. And he either said, thank you, ma'am, or something like that. When he said it, everybody recognized his voice, and they turned around and knew who it was.
Yeah.
And then we had Will Sampson, which I didn't get to meet.
He's an actor. What happened on that day?
Well, Mr. Tandy Reeder, which we all know, has been a friend of mine for a long time, and he
Schoolmates, I think. Is that
well,
right?
no.
Okay.
No, he was younger than me, but I'd known him since forever.
Yeah.
And they kept their horses at my mom and dad's some, and so he called me, and he was up at the Will Rogers Museum working or something. He said, Melinda, he said, I can't leave and I'm hungry. He said, will you bring me something to eat? And I said, oh, sure, Tandy. So I took it up there, and then I get back, and they told me that
Will Sampson.
Yeah, and I thought, dadgummit, Tandy, you're always causing trouble. But yeah.
And you've had some film companies come through, crews, I guess.
We
film
really
crews.
have. We had one, this was a really funny one. It was a New York lady. She was super nice, and she'd been in there several times. I didn't know what she was doing. And she'd have her little high heels on. She'd go out there to her outside bathroom, and didn't think nothing of it. Yeah. Well, so one day she comes in at noon, and here she comes with all these cameras. And she says, do you mind if we come in and shoot a few shots? And I thought, well, I guess not, and we were busy. And she's taking all these shots and everything. And what it was, what was that called? Crime Stories or something. It was national TV.
Yeah.
Well, there was a guy living in Ulagal that was a bigamist.
Okay.
And they were doing a story on him. And they just wanted to do how Claremore was a little town, everybody knew everybody, nobody ever realized that was going on, and that was what that was. Yeah.
And then another would come in and rent the whole place out for a day or so?
Yeah, that was the Mike Rowe show. And that was about Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde.
And she was a waitress, and he said that he had looked and looked for a place like ours, and he had found some, but he said they had been worked on so much that he wanted one like ours. Okay. And they were really nice, and he said ours was really probably one of their favorite places to film, except it was really small.
Yeah.
So, yeah.